Welcome back, everybody. I wanted to send out a few tips on getting your classrooms set up, and by classrooms I mean Google Classrooms. I know that a lot of people this year may think that you can delay this a little bit, but I urge you to do it right away. If we have e-learning days due to heat or quarantines or whatever unforeseen circumstances, you're going to be a lot better off if your Google Classrooms are set up to mirror your schedule. So the first thing that you're going to want to do to clean things up a little bit, if you haven't already, is to make sure that you archive your classes. So I'm here at the Google Classroom main page, and you'll see all the tiles for any classes that are in here. When you archive, just click your three dots, and you'll come down to Archive. Remember, when you archive a class, you can always find it in your menu. Scroll all the way down, and you can go to Archived Classes, and here they all are. From there you can restore, delete, copy, whatever you need to do. Once you have all of your classes archived, this is where you're going to want to create your new classes for your schedule. You can do it a couple different ways. I suggest going ahead and just making a brand new class by clicking on this plus button. When you create a class, you'll give it a class name and a section. These are the two things that the students are going to see here. So if you give it a class name, they're going to see that, if I can spell properly. And then for section, it's up to you, but to make it easy for you and for your students to have your schedule, you might want to mirror the section after like the hour or the period, because then you can drag your tiles in order. So once you create your class, it will automatically open. And just to show you what I was talking about, I'm going to go back to the main page here. If this is my schedule and I have everything listed by period, you can simply just drag these tiles so that you have all of your classes in order. Also, be aware that this is what you see. Your students, however, will see the name, they'll see the section that you give, and they'll actually see the teacher's name underneath as well. So there's no need to put your name in the actual class name. There is another method of creating your classes by using old classes, where you can simply click on these three dots and copy. There are some benefits to that depending on what your syllabus looks like or what your course outline looks like. I'm going to go through that in a little bit because I don't recommend doing it this year. Most likely your class is not going to be anywhere near what it was like last year. So copying a class probably won't be the best option for this year. All right, so now that we have made our new class, in each class you want to make sure that you change the settings to what you need. So I'm going to enter that class. And the class settings are located in the gear in the upper right-hand corner. And a few things that you want to make sure here. The stream, you're really going to want to make sure this is probably on only teachers can post or comment. Some teachers may want their students to be able to post or comment, but I suggest going through your expectations and norms before that's turned on. Classwork on the stream, I like having condensed notifications so it doesn't get junked up. You'll see Guardian Summaries is on by default. If you see this toggled off, you definitely need to turn this on. You may want to generate a Meet link right away so that there is one available if you end up needing that for quarantine students or if we ever have an e-learning day. Once you generate that Meet link, you can turn it off so that it's not at the top of your Google Classroom page. And those are the big ones. Now, you could also use Google Classroom to do some overall grades like total points and weighting and all that. I don't necessarily do that because our grades more go through PowerSchool. I do like using Google Classroom for grading and then transferring them over. That's a personal preference. Once that's all done, I'll click Save. Now, beyond class notifications or class settings, don't forget that you have your overall notifications of emails and things that you want to receive. That's going to be in this main menu, and you're going to scroll all the way down to Settings, and you can choose a lot of different options here. If you don't want to receive any email notifications, you turn it off. Most likely you'll want to. When you turn that on, you'll see that there's a difference between classes you're enrolled in and classes you teach. If there are comments on your post or private comments on work, what do you want to receive? I know a lot of you probably received email after email after email last year. This is where you can clean that up a little bit. You can also, once you get these set the way you want them, you can click this here and turn on individual classes that you may or may not want those for. So these are the settings that you want overall, and then you can apply them to the individual classes this way. Inviting students might be a little bit easier this year depending on your preference and your style. When I had students face-to-face, I almost always would have them get their Chromebooks out, and I would use the class code, and it can be found here or in the settings, and I get them to come into their classrooms to the main page. They would click the plus button and join class, and then you could project or tell them this class code. Once they have this class code typed in, that would allow them to get in. Using the class code here will help you to avoid having to add all of your students individually into the People tab. Some teachers would rather do this. They like to have all their students in before they get there, or maybe you have a class that has just a huge roster like PE or art and you just want to have this done, and you can still do this. In the People tab, you would add students manually by clicking Invite Students, and then we have sent out roster lists where you can copy and paste the email addresses. I'll show you how to do that very quickly. So if we have a roster list here, you'll notice you've got your teacher name, student emails here, what the course number is. The course name is here, and then you've got your expression. This is going to be the period, and then whatever section it is. So when you invite students, you'll click on the plus button, and then you will take the emails from a particular class. I'm going to take the emails from Good Times 1, and I'm going to drag down, Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. You'll see all of them paste directly in there. And then I can click down on the names and invite, and they'll automatically all be in. Now when the students go to their Google Classroom homepage, all they have to do is just click accept. Once your student has accepted their invitation, you'll see that their name here is no longer this light gray and it doesn't say invited. And now you have options to either email the student or remove the student or mute them from your class. You can also invite their guardians here. You have the ability to invite more than one guardian this year, which I think is a new feature. When you invite guardians, the parents will get an email invitation. And they can set up their own settings of how often they want to see the guardian summaries. And then you have the option here once they're in to email all guardians as well. And a reminder about guardian emails, once they've been added one time for a particular student, other teachers don't have to add the guardians. Once a teacher adds the guardian emails, it is good for that student in all of their Google Classrooms. And that's about it. I hope this video helped you get your classroom set up and get organized a little bit for the beginning of the year. If you need anything at all throughout the year, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks, everybody.